Hi everyone, my name is Louise Hately and I put this training video together to help you build your list on a shoestring. The reason for this is because recently I've been on some training sessions where they show you how to build your list. The reason I've added on a shoestring is because unless you've got a minimum of, say, £500 to invest into advertising, say on Facebook ads and things like that, then you're going to struggle to build your list to anywhere close to what most of the training courses say is achievable. I've looked at quite a few and they all seem to carry the same theme. So if anyone's got anything out there that's different, then let me know. But what I thought I'd put together is a few steps that I've been going through to build my list. I'm in the process of building my list and I was able to build up to 500 subscribers just within a week, just by going through these simple steps. You know, this will give you the steps to start thinking about what you need to do. Okay, so what are you known for? So I'm going to go into, what are your skills? What should you be honing in on? Do you have the likability and trust factor, which are key to any businesses, especially if you've got an online business? How would you communicate your key skills to people? Again, it's no good having a skill or having a business if you're not communicating it in the right way. How do you convert that into a list? I'm going to show you that as well. And how do you convert all of that into passive income? Okay, so what are you known for? So the best way of finding out what you're known for is to either ask people or do a bit of research. So what I did was I literally asked people in my groups. I asked people in one-to-one conversations. I asked them what they thought my key strengths were. And then I really honed in on those key strengths to design a few training sessions or a few handouts or a few posts around those key strengths. And I've been doing that probably for the last month, giving people information based on what they've asked for in their business. Equally, it's also really good to know what your key weaknesses are as well, because obviously you don't really want to just focus on your key strengths. You want to focus on what your weaknesses are to make sure that when you're going through a process of self-development, you improve those as well. Okay, this is really key. Do you have the likability and trust factor? So the way that you'll know whether it applies to you is, do people generally come to you and ask questions? So, for example, if there's a new business that's just come on the market or a new opportunity has been presented to them, do people generally come to you and ask you about it? Do people like and trust you enough to ask your opinion? So if people are coming to you asking your questions on something, then usually it's because they like and trust you. If that happens a lot, if it gets repeated over and over, then usually it's because they like and trust you. So usually that's a really good way of judging. Okay, so once you've got the key skills, also, if you sat listening to this thinking, oh no, I don't have a key skill, then there are things that you can do to start learning skills. There's so much information on the internet about, different platforms you can use, different social media platforms you can use to build your businesses, different systems you can use to build your businesses. Start having a look around to see what's out there. Have a look what other people are offering on the market and see if it's something that you could get your head around to learn, and then wrap it up in a nice little wrapper and provide it to people to help them in their businesses. There are lots of things that you can do. For example, I'm a self-taught LinkedIn and Facebook coach. I'm help people build their businesses and generate leads using Facebook and LinkedIn. That's completely self-taught. I didn't have any training on any of these things. I literally just got stuck in, did a bit of testing, messed around a little bit with it, and started getting to know the systems and how they work, you can do that for free. It doesn't cost anything. Just choose something and roll with it. Okay, once you've got the skill, so you've got the skill and you know everything about it, or you know enough to be able to position yourself as someone who is an expert or someone who knows more than the average Joe, then you need to find a way to make it attractive to people in that they're going to listen to what you are saying. So there are a number of ways you can do this. So you can either have your own group, you can have your own page, or you can set up a newsletter. So you can set up an email campaign. What you want to do, you probably want to give yourself at least a month of showing people that you are the key expert in your area. First of all, make sure though that it's something that people are going to actually use. So you may need to start asking people what it is they want in their business before you have a look at that skill or before you develop a skill. So make sure it's relevant, okay? So you can showcase it in a number of ways. So choose a social media platform and stick to it, or choose 2 social media platforms and stick to them, but make sure you're posting regularly. So for example, if you choose Facebook, make sure you post at least 3 times a day. The best times to post, I'll put that in an email to you shortly, so you've got some guidance around that. You can either use your own group, like I said, to showcase your skills, or you can use someone else's group, or maybe your personal profile as well. So it doesn't have to be something you've set up yourself. People are always asking questions on social media about, I need help with this, I need help with that. Be someone who helps somebody. As soon as you're seen as somebody who helps somebody, you're going to get people coming back to you and asking you more questions. Okay, so how do you go from being an expert to converting that into a list? So what you want to do is, one, you want to ask your audience what they need. So go to them and ask them what their pain points are in their business. Ask them what are the 3 biggest struggles that keep them awake at night. Ask them, what would really help them build their business effectively, or give them more time to build their business effectively. Then obviously go with the most common theme. And when I was doing this, I was probably speaking to 80 or 90 people one-on-one, and then I asked questions in groups, so large audiences, to get an opinion on it. So it needs to be a sizable cross-section of your industry. And then number 2, you need to design a giveaway. So you need to design something that someone's going to look at and go, wow, I need that because that is going to solve X problem. So it has to be something that's free. No one's going to pay for something up front. People will expect you to prove yourself up front before they pay for anything from you. If you haven't heard of this phrase, then I'll mention it. Free, 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 fee. Bit of a mouthful, but that's just to show how much value you need to give up front before you ask them to join you in your business, or if you ask them to buy anything from you. Okay, and then you need to design what's referred to as an opt-in. The opt-in is the bit that gets people to put in their email address. It's that free thing that I referred to. It's something so juicy that you want, they want to click on it. They have to have it. Nothing can make them flick past your post. They have to have it. And then you need to think about what you're going to do afterwards. So you need to map out, start to finish, how are you going to start it? So what is your free opt-in going to be? And then what is your ending going to be? What are you charging them for? And what is your process going to be along the way? Now, what I do when I'm drafting out something like this is I start from the end and I work backwards, because I find it easier to think about what your end goal is. Okay, so maybe it's you want to sell a free training, you want to sell a training video on a social media platform. If you work backwards from that step, then you'll know how many steps and how much value you need to give in order that someone's going to purchase that training from you. Also, remember, people don't pay for information, they pay for implementation. So if you're trying to sell information about something, then they're not going to pay for that. They're going to pay to see you putting it into practice. So, you know, a step-by-step guide, a training video with exactly how it's done. They're not going to pay for you to just tell them this is what you need to do. Not always, anyway. And then how would you convert this all into passive income? So this is what we all want to know, really, isn't it? So you've set yourself up a skill, or you've got a skill, you've asked your audience exactly what they need, you know, you've created that opt-in that's just too irresistible that they can't actually flick past it, and they've given you their email address. So now how do you create that into passive income? So like I say, you need to map out exactly what your audience needs, and you need to think about pricing structures of those little bits and pieces maybe along the way that build them up to the ending, which is maybe, you know, a training session with you, a coaching session with you, something like that, something that's one-to-one. People pay more for one-to-one advice rather than, say, a training video or, you know, a step-by-step implementation guide, that type of thing. Okay, so next what I thought would be useful to you guys is over the next 2 days, what I'm going to do is I'm going to send you one email about how to start building credibility to show you as the expert in your area. And then 2, an outline of the best times of day to post using Facebook. That should start getting you used to building your credibility, which is the first stage. And, you know, the times of day to post. I'll give you some tips on the type of things to post, you know, to really show that you're an expert in your field. That should start positioning yourself as an expert. And then once you've got that, you can start thinking about what you're going to design as your opt-in. You know, what are you going to design that you're going to get people to click on, that's going to be so irresistible that they're going to sign up to your email campaign. And then obviously you need to design a path to create passive income. But don't worry, I can help you with all this along the way. So thanks for listening. I hope you've got some value from this. Feel free to share it with your colleagues and your teammates, and also obviously if you've got any questions about anything, then come back to me. My name is Louise Haitley and you can find me on Facebook. Thank you. Bye.